Previously on Crit Fail Club.
And you suddenly hear a clamor from above you. You see a small circle of crew members around Captain Warwater, who has pinned against a wall a half-elf in a brown waxed leather cloak.
Does the figure look like the one that I saw leading the boat onto the ship?
It sure does, now that you mention it. Why the hell did you bring that thing on my ship?
I think I might be able to help. I took the liberty to mark the crate that this individual was loading onto the ship.
A half-orc scurries over who you would imagine is probably her first mate. And she says, "This halfling knows where her cargo is. Make sure you get to it and confiscate whatever's inside."
What if it's got traps? Can we check it for traps?
You could also do, if any of you has detect magic, that might not be a bad idea.
If you give me 10 minutes, then I can prepare it.
I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna use Cause Fear. What happens if they open that box?
Nothing. There's nothing. Well, nothing dangerous. And why the hell did you bring an undead creature onto my ship? I was transporting it. Orders from on high. The Exarch.
Exarch, that's familiar.
You cast detect magic. The box is not enchanted. It seems like a very ordinary box. And as you are turning to relay this information to your group, you notice that Salvador is. He is glowing blue.
What?
I don't feel magic. I mean, I'm a cleric, so I got some magic, but, you know, nothing super special. Nothing would make me glow or whatever. Everyone clears out of the way, and the side of this massive 12-foot container falls open, and inside are about half a dozen children. Captain Warwater says, "I cannot thank you enough for killing that awful thing. Listen, where are you going?"
Notes.
I think it's Hullock.
Hullock.
Yeah.
This is the least I can do. When we get to Iriabor, head to the Wandering Wyvern Inn and ask for Slim. Tell him I owe you a favor, and he'll give you a free ride to Arabel.
Ooh.
So the Wandering Wyvern, it's not like a great spot.
Nyla orders some ale. Anybody goes by the name of Slim around here?
In the corner, this enormous, like 7.5-foot tall shadow.
I'm so glad.
He is a half-orc. If he were not, like, smiling like a big old goober, he would be fucking terrifying. My caravan leaves every day a little after dawn, and it's lots of fun. I do a lot of... Do you like singing? I sing.
Yes, I love singing. Yes, let's go.
Someone was like, "I love singing too! Aria, we should have been singing all this time!"
What did you call me?
Ari!
No. Don't ever call me that again. It's what she used to call me. You are not allowed to call me that. She's like, it's the nickname that my ex used to use. We did not end on good terms.
So you start your day-long trip through the Stormhorns, and you arrive well after nightfall. There sure are a lot of missing posters up around, and yeah, a lot of them seem to be talking about children. There are guard posts stationed all over the city. We could not help but notice all of these missing posters. Yeah, it's been happening for about 3 weeks now. By the Hullock Forest, by any chance? Yes. By the way, if you are going out near the Hullock Forest, be careful of the scar. It's kind of unstable.
The what now?
When you finally see it, it is sort of mystifying. You see this massive black fissure that extends, it looks like forever. You can actually see on the horizon a temple split directly up the middle. There is some sort of rustling coming from the grass. Hiya! And suddenly you are smacked in the ribs with a wooden sword. Salvador picks him up under both arms and he's like, "Hey there, kiddo, can you not do that, please? My mom, she says that the heretics are the ones that don't worship Bashaba. I'm Orda."
Orda, where's your mom?
"Oh, she went down to Baldur's Gate to capture heretics." Wait. Your mom went to Baldur's Gate? Salvador's looking a little nauseous.
Barrett is an evil cultist. I mean, something would have happened at some point anyway. I don't know a lot about children, but I do know...
I don't preach pacifism just to annoy you, you know. I preach pacifism because when you take a life, the effects are never isolated. There's always someone else hurt, and you can never predict who it is. I guess I'll take him back to Arabel. He's obviously not safe here, being raised by a cult of Bashaba. And the process of listening to him explain it is excruciating. He tries to explain to the child, like, "Your mommy isn't gonna come back." And the kid asks why not, and he has to explain, well, because she's dead now. And by the time they get back to Arabel and they find an orphanage, he is sobbing into Salvador's shoulder. He's not his usual happy, dopey, smiling self anymore, and he says, "All right, you guys ready to go back?" So you get back to the temple in time. You can see the same broken door that you were outside just a couple hours ago. There is some sort of muffled sound coming from in the temple and down.
Ah!
You see that pacing back and forth in front of a door that seems to be leading into a cellar.
Oh god. Is there anything else around it?
Yes, there sure is something else. A corpse, actually. They are slumped against one of the walls. Its eyes have been gouged out. Underneath it, written in blood, is the following. She has no way out but through. She will find the pillars that hold the world and bring it down around her. Above, below, between.
There's some sort of evil dog.
I mean, these are cultists, so there's a good chance that it might be a hellhound.
Okay, well, we have to go rescue the children, obviously.
Oh, it's a nat 20!
Nice!
Woo! Congratulations, you solved my hellhound puzzle. Salvador's like, oh my god, and he immediately runs over. Everyone who's not Salvador, roll perception for me really quick. You didn't notice it at first because you were a little busy with the hellhounds and the screaming children. On the other side of the fissure, about 100 feet across, there is a woman. She is slumped forward over herself. Her hair is stark white, and she has her head down in her crossed arms, and she's not moving.
I was like trying to figure out what we're gonna do with all these children.
She lifts her head.
Shit.
Is that, I like stage whisper, is that the goddess?
Has Sal noticed yet, or he's busy with the kids?
What did you say?
What?
Are you?
She disappears.
What?
Oh.
Did we just see motherfucking Bashava?
Elminster has just hung up on you. Magically hung up on you.
Right, we're all like, what just happened?
Selwyn. And
It's not really even that he hung up, it's just that he got disconnected.
The call has been disconnected.
Right, exactly.
And you just answered Salvador about, oh, it's my mentor and he wants me to come back to Candlekeep. And not long after that whole exchange happens, you get back to Arabel. You start drawing a lot of attention. This is a town where like 18 children have gone missing. And suddenly
we come back with 40.
Yeah. And you come back with at least 14 of them. And yeah, people are sticking their heads out of their doors. The whispering starts almost immediately. By the time you are halfway between the edge of Arabel and the orphanage, which is where you were heading just on default, like where else are you going to put them for now, right? You suddenly hear, Bessa! One of the girls by your side, Nyla, turns around sharply and she says, Mommy! And she just breaks off in a run and she sprints away from you and she goes hurtling into this older, this woman, and they hug each other tightly and the woman is sobbing, crying. And if you hadn't gotten any attention before, you sure got some attention now.
Nyla uncomfortably puts the hood of her cloak up.
Salvador is like ugly crying. He's like, oh god, it's so beautiful. He like shoves you in the shoulder like, we did that.
Well, okay then, but we don't have to talk about it.
So soon the people of Arabel have formed like this, like I don't think they even meant to do it, like just more and more people just came out of the woodwork and suddenly you're kind of surrounded and like your path is cut off to the orphanage and you have people all muttering to each other. None of them have approached you, at least not until that first woman, the one who called out for Bessa, comes over and she has like tears running down her face and she approaches you first, Nyla, and she says, I cannot thank you enough for bringing Bessa back to me.
Well, I wasn't, as you would say, all that involved.
Salvador stares at you in confusion, wondering why you're lying about
we're all confused, like, what?
Why are you not taking credit for that?
You're not going to extort this woman? Shocking.
Nyla pushes Sal forward awkwardly and she's like, you'll want to talk to him about saving your children, probably.
So, is very confused by this, but he says, okay, I mean, I suppose if you want me to. And
Nyla doesn't like attention.
Soon enough, a whole bunch of people are gathered around you. Like, there's parents that are, calling out children's names, and some of them, sometimes there's no answer, but more often than not, there is an answer. And one by one, some of these kids start peeling off from the pack and running through the crowd. while Salvador talks to Bessa. And in this pandemonium, it takes a couple minutes for things to settle down. And one of the only things that you can hear Salvador say clearly in all of this is, "Oh, please, we couldn't possibly accept any reward from you, ma'am."
No.
Good job. Good job.
The woman responds like, "Please, it was a reward. I listed it as reward money. It's the least I can do for bringing her back safely."
So picture Nyla like steeling herself to talk to this human being. Like she's like trying to like slink back against the wall, but like her ears perk up and she's just like, "Oh, okay." And so she like pushes her way through the crowd and she goes, "Well, I mean, Sal, a little bit of money wouldn't be,
Sal puts like a
totally remiss."
Sal puts a really deliberate hand on the back of your neck, Nyla, like really deliberate. And he like looks down at you and he says, "Nyla," and then he gestures to the woman. And for the first time you are getting a look at this woman. She's human, dark-skinned. Her clothes are very, very worn. They've been patched over and over again. Her shoes are threadbare. Her hair is kept in a sort of loose bun. And you realize that this woman, who is still holding this bag of gold out towards Salvador, is actually quite poor by the look of her.
Your call, Nyla.
I think I've made it pretty clear that moral choice is a big theme of this campaign.
How big is her bag of gold?
Oh my god.
It is an honest question.
It depends on the type of coin inside, right? Like, it's a decent sized bag. It's, maybe, I don't know, about the size of 2 clenched fists. But, if those are full of electrum pieces versus, like, gold or silver, that value would fluctuate wildly.
Okay. I don't know. I think Sal should go ahead. I was Nyla's just sort of staring at, like, she's staring at Sal and staring at the bag of gold and, like, can't make up her mind.
Sal takes your opportunity of hesitance, like, oh, finally she's starting to understand. Sal turns to the woman and he says, "Please, ma'am, you clearly need this more than we do." And he, like, gently pushes her hands back toward her, says, "You've got another mouth to feed again, so, you need all the money that you can get." And, tears are, like, just falling down her face, and she hugs Salvador, and Sal's like, "Yes, finally! A hug!" And he hugs her back, of course. And you have drawn, like, a lot of attention now. There are only, like, a couple kids left who haven't peeled off to go find their parents.
Nyla's muttering to herself. She's like, "I mean, it's all fine, well and good, but until we can't go and play safe for dinner tonight, and we can't get any ale, and then we can't get a bed, but I mean, it's okay, it's fine. So it's fine, it's fine."
Salvador turns back to you and he says, "I still have like 200 gold left."
"That is not the point, Salvador."
Also, I can hunt. I can get you the food from the sky, from the ground. It's amazing.
Nyla gives you this pitying look. Like, she doesn't want to insult your cooking.
So as everything is starting to calm down, one woman who seems to be in a position of authority, if only because the crowd parts for her as she comes through. She has a long dark oak staff in one hand, and she is like surveying you and like the remaining children around you, and she says, "What's going on here?"
"We found them in a temple, split in half. The temple, not the children."
Well, some
Just
of the children.
I mean, some of the children may have been split in half. You don't know that for sure.
Some of the children seem like they may have been split in half, Ariazes.
The woman is just watching this as yet another child screams about their dad and, runs like directly underneath her legs to get to him. And
like, "Okay."
she gives a start and she says, I can't believe you found just all of them in one go. Thank you very much. The town is in your debt. Who are you?
Well, hello, ma'am. It's nice to meet you. My name is Nyla, and this is my
Character
loyal...
voices. This is what you're hearing, by the way. Finally, they're doing character voices.
Finally.
You interrupted her. You're gonna throw her
I'm
off.
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say,
I'm
do you want me
so
to... I can go
happy.
back to not doing character voices if we're gonna do this nonsense.
I'm just so fucking happy that we're finally all doing character voices.
I'm very bad at accents, so y'all just... This is the best you're getting, and I don't want to hear bitching about it.
Okay.
My name is Nyla, and these are my compatriots. You've got
Salvador
Ariazes there with the moss, and Selwyn,
with the
and
doll.
and this is Salvatore, who is some sort of elf
Cleric?
thing.
Elf thing.
Young boy, possibly 15. No one knows.
Half elf, and we know his age.
And and you must be.
She says, "Oh, of course. I'm sorry I didn't introduce myself. My name is Anda Firewise."
How hot is she?
I know, right?
She's pretty hot, yeah. She's a human woman. She's ginger, freckled, and she has this long wizard robe. She says, "It's very nice to meet you. I am the vizier to the governor of Arabel. I was on my way to the store when I saw all this commotion. I'm impressed and delighted that you managed to single-handedly swoop in and save all the children when the combined forces of our entire city guard could not do the same." She says, "The city of Arabel is in your debt. Is there anything in particular that I can do for you?" Sex joke, sex joke, sex joke, sex joke, sex joke.
Ariazi's is looking her up and down, thinking.
I'll say, I forget here, I am the only straight person in this entire chat, so.
And now that you've mentioned it, you have to apologize to all of our listeners for being gay. For not being
Motherfucker,
gay.
the gays are oppressing me again!
Apologize, Straighty.
I'm so sorry for following what I was born. I can't help it. Trust me, if I didn't have to like men, I wouldn't. It's not profitable.
If I had
Men are trash. If I had an option.
Trust me. Anything else in life I would have pursued. As Nyla looks around at the group, I think, and is like, well, is there anything that the nice lady could do for us? And then she winks at Ariazi's.
Sex joke. Are you all standing there in gay silence? Is that what this is?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Ariazi's just I don't know.
Nyla was trying to be polite. Are you really not going to talk?
As you stand there in gay silence, Salvador's like, "All right, I guess I'll do this." And he says, "Well, we don't really require any reward. We know we do goodness for its own sake."
No, wait.
We do have bills to pay.
Salvador is a lovely young man, don't get me wrong, but he comes from a noble family and he doesn't understand the struggles of us working class people. It does take some funds to keep rescuing small children.
Hey, welcome to our communist D&D podcast.
Look, capitalism is like being straight. I don't like it, but it's the system we got.
She says, "All right, well, I mean, obviously there were a bunch of individual rewards for varying children. There wasn't any one particular reward offered for all of them, but I'll talk to the governor and I'll see what I can do. Why don't you come to the governor's palace tomorrow morning, and I'll see what I can do, and I'm perfectly willing to teleport you to wherever it is you need to go next."
Oh, that would be so wonderful.
I just yay, teleporting. I don't think I've ever done that before.
Yeah, teleporting is it's like a 7th level spell. So it's very difficult to cast, and you need someone like a vizier, a wizard vizier to do it for you. And she gives you brief directions to the governor's palace, and she says, "And by the way, if you ask any innkeeper, they will give you a free night on the governor's coin for your service to the city."
Well, we do appreciate that, ma'am.
And Salvador once again has a knee-jerk reaction. "We just do goodness for its own sake. We don't need any reward."
Okay, Salvador.
We do need a place to sleep, Sal.
I was like, I mean, yeah, but and then I imagine Nyla kicks him in the shin.
Nyla kicks him. I was just about to say that. Nyla kicks him in the shin really hard.
About your finances in the street.
Why are you hurting me today? This is the 3rd time you physically assaulted me.
Nyla looks briefly crestfallen because she'd forgotten, as in I forgot that I had stabbed him.
First thing in the morning.
She takes a step back and she goes, I am sorry about that, Sal.
And Firewise gives you, after giving you brief directions to the governor's palace, heads away herself. And do you want to head back to the you actually would have to head back to the same inn that you were at before, because we collectively realized after the end of the last episode we forgot about Sassy.
Exactly.
Which isn't entirely
we
surprising.
left somebody, a skeleton, just hanging out.
You knew you were getting into something pretty dangerous, and what did you think Sassy was going to help you with fighting? Absolutely not.
Eat the skeleton.
So there was a communal decision, you probably left Sassy behind in an inn. Because it was just safer for them there, and because you were probably going to spend another night there anyway, so you might as well. You head back to the inn, fighting your way through this crowd. The remaining kids get taken to the orphanage, and you come into the main lobby of of the inn, and you see Sassy sitting in a brand new long a peacoat with tails on it, and a white cravat. And shiny dress shoes, and their legs are up on the table. And they say, "How did the thing go?"
Where did you get that?
Oh,
Don't
sorry.
ask questions you don't want the answer to.
Nyla leans in and she's like, so, who'd you steal it off of?
Some fucking schmuck in the room next to us.
Nyla gives Sassy an enormous high five.
Sassy high fives you back, and then her hand falls off.
Ah!
Ah, balls.
Nyla kind of shrugs at Selwyn and is like, oh, sorry.
More work for you.
That's all right. I wasn't using it anyway. So the bartender, sort of awestruck by you, agrees to comp your entire stay. Like, it's all free. It's all, everything else
Didn't
you
we-
order.
Didn't we agree last time to stay in the shittiest hotel? Or
Yeah, it
shittiest
is the,
inn in
it is
town?
the shittiest. It is the
Yeah.
shittiest.
Ah, fucking hell.
But at least it's free.
It is.
Yes,
It's-
but we could be staying free in the nicest inn in the place.
But you aren't. So you all settle in at this terrible shitty inn for the rest of the night. Is there anything you want to do before?
Drink. Nyla is drinking a lot.
Of course.
Of course she is.
As per usual, I'm writing in my books, just studying things, and yeah.
Nyla comes over. She's a little drunk.
This is to be expected at this point.
She's not like super drunk. She like sits down. She does that thing, you know, where you sit down in a chair, but you sit on it backwards, and you think you look
Uh-huh.
cool,
Like a
but
cool
actually,
guidance counselor.
Yeah.
Just look like a
but
douche.
you actually look like an asshole, right? But like you
Right.
think it's cool. Yeah, that's what she's doing. She like leans into Selway and she goes, so who's that crazy person on the you were talking to the air the other day?
I believe didn't Selwyn mention it?
I think I did.
She
I know
mentioned
I
it
at
was-
least talked with Sal about it. I don't know if I talked with everybody about it.
I don't think you
But
talked
I
to me
was-
about it.
I was definitely
just-
talking to thin air.
Right.
So.
Right.
No,
We're like, what's
Not for
going on?
you. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah, you were definitely talking to thin air. So even if you did tell me about it, it's still weird.
That was just my mentor. I really need to go back to Candlekeep. We've gotta study that.
Sal it
Yeah,
like
those
drops
notes.
in like unexpected. Like we could definitely go to Candlekeep. I don't mind going specifically to Candlekeep and not anywhere else.
It's interesting because you know Baldur's Gate is literally right around the corner.
No, we
from,
forgot about this game. We just need to go to Candlekeep, right?
Well, I got a couple things I got to pick up in Baldur's Gate. You know,
We
So-
don't need to go there, Nyla.
we don't need to go back to our beloved home.
No, we're busy right now.
Beloved home.
Just to be clear,
Wait, beloved, what?
Nyla lives in a shithole apartment. It's like the worst thing you've ever seen.
No, so Wade is just laughing her ass off because, like, I'm not from there. That's not my home.
Okay, well, it's Nyla's home. Or rather, it's her adopted home after she decided that she didn't want to live in the middle of nowhere anymore.
No, Selwyn definitely wants to go to Candlekeep more than they want to go to Baldur's Gate. Well, I mean, I really want to go back and find out what's up with these notes and at least meet up with my teacher. But we can't avoid Baldur's Gate forever. But that said, we really have to figure out, how we can, deal with the whole father issue.
Oh, I already figured that out. We're just
What?
gonna get his money.
And then what? We're just supposed to leave Sal?
Gonna leave. Well, I'm not saying we can't take Sal with us.
Sal looks
I mean,
very
he's-
injured by you saying, and then we're gonna leave.
It's like,
he will.
he's right there, Nyla. You can hear him.
Nyla!
It's his family. I look at Sal. It's your family. It's your family.
And he doesn't. I just kind of like get really huffy and like, you might not understand, but not everybody gets along with their family.
Yeah, for example, my birth
you
parents
think-
left me to die. That was great.
Nyla like looks her really seriously at. She goes, "You think I get along with my family?"
Maybe not, but maybe they don't hit you either.
Nyla looks at her. You don't know nothing about my family, and she gets up and walks away.
Whoa,
Whoa, I
Oh.
think you might have hurt her feelings, Selwyn.
that wasn't really my intention.
Sal, by the way, has now turned his really, really big, entirely too blue eyes onto you, Ariazis, and he's trying to get some sort of measure of you.
She's just like looking at him like, your eyes are very blue.
Are you
What
still
can I
mad
help
at me?
you? What?
Are you still mad at me?
I am not mad at you. She
Okay.
like pets his head.
Well, can I ask why you were mad at me then? Because I don't like having my friends being mad at me, and if at all possible, I would like to avoid it in the future.
You know, I feel like it's going to be unavoidable. Like, we're all going to get mad at each other, but, Just things about children, especially when it's about dying and them crying. Like, I didn't want to do that. But you did that.
Well, yeah, well, listen, Ariazis, I've been thinking about what you said, and I do mean that sincerely. I'm not trying to be flippant. I have given a lot of thought to what you said, and, maybe it was wrong of me. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was wrong of me to assume that you were wrong in your assessment. Maybe you would have been happy or ignorant. I'm not you. I don't know your life. But I think you were wrong to assume it was better to condemn someone you don't know to that fate.
I can see what you're saying, and I completely disagree, but that's neither here nor there.
You disagree, huh?
Yes, he didn't really seem to be happy, and I just don't like that. Like, why did you have to tell?
Life isn't about maximizing happiness all the time, Arya. Life is about doing the best with what you got.
I told you not to call me that.
Oh, sorry, Arya Aziz. Sorry.
There we go. Thank you.
He says, it is literally impossible for life to be all sunshine and smiles, and sometimes it's better to know a painful truth than to live in ignorance.
This is true. Still, it didn't have to be you. It didn't have to be us.
Who else would it have been? We were the only ones who knew.
When you drop him off at the orphanage, they would tell him, "Why are you here? Why am I here? Because your mother is dead." Like, he didn't even understand. You had to explain the entire concept to him. He was too young.
He says, I don't know, Ariazis. I think you are wrong in this.
That's fine. You can think that I'm wrong.
I just don't think it's right to condemn someone else to ignorance, especially when we have the information that would make him not ignorant.
Okay, then.
He kind of sighs. Did you want to, Selwyn, follow up with Nyla? Apparently you upset her.
She just left.
Yeah, I'll probably go after her.
I imagine that can happen Selwyn, as Ariazis and Salvador have the aforementioned conversation, Selwyn kind of stands up and maybe follows after Nyla.
Yeah.
Where'd you go, Nyla?
Oh, I'm at the bar drinking.
Naturally.
Instead of at the table drinking, which is where you were.
Yes, but now I'm doing it the sad version in front of a bar with a bartender.
I order you another one.
All is forgiven.
Okay.
It's really tempting to do that. I think as you set it down, she looks over at Selwyn and says, "Well, I mean, beer does go a long way."
I'm sorry. You're right. I don't know much about your family. You don't know much about mine. You seemed so dismissive of Sal, and I don't know. He's preachy, but I don't want him to be forced into a marriage he doesn't want or be hurt.
I wasn't suggesting we were going to do that. I just also want our money.
I wasn't disagreeing with wanting the money. My point was we should come up with some plan to get the money and then save him from this situation. Do both.
Nyla looks over and she goes, "Yeah, about that. I've been thinking. I know a way to get out of it."
Yeah?
Oh my god, is it time? Is it happening?
Yes.
Oh my god, it's all happening! It's happening!
We're all like, what?
What would that be?
Nyla looks at her and she goes, "Well, I don't tell y'all a lot of things, but I happen to have an alter ego, you might say, back in Baldur's Gate." She takes a deep breath. She looks really ashamed. She looks up and she goes, "It's Lady Yolanda Meriwether Valencia Faustus."
Nice.
And I'm pretty sure I can get Sal out of his thing.
Sorry, what?
I'm so sad that Ariazis is not in on this conversation.
Nyla looks up, she goes, Look, as a thief in Baldur's Gate, there are sometimes things and identities you have to set up to be able to sneak into the best parties.
I mean, yeah.
So a couple years ago, I was in a party and I got caught. And I just came up with the Lady Yolanda. And it's just taken off ever since then, and she's actually a very well established character right now. She's on vacation in Waterdeep visiting her nephew, but she is going to be back for the local events anytime now.
She's on vacation. I love it. I love it.
Nephew.
So it's like, I have a few follow-up questions.
Just a few.
I mean, at this point, Nyla just falls silent and she just keeps drinking her beer.
I'm sorry. It's not what I expected.
Well,
You didn't expect that. Wait till you see the outfit.
God, I cannot wait.
Do you have it with you?
I always have it with me.
Okay, anything else character shit that wants to happen tonight? Like, I do not want Selwyn to ask too many questions, because the reveal is going to be so good.
Oh yeah, no.
Okay, alright.
So Wade's gonna see that they should just not push their luck on this. Just kind of go with it.
So Nyla finishes her beers, and then she mutters this out. She's like, "Good night," and she goes upstairs.
Night.
And don't tell anyone else about it.
Okay.
So everyone except Selwyn, obviously she transits, eventually heads up to bed. In the middle of the night, Ariazis, you are shaken awake.
What?
Salvador is hunched over you, gripping you by one shoulder and staring at the door. And now that you are awake, you can hear some consternation going on downside. There's this big thump that happens downstairs, and then something is overturned, like a table or a chair, and there's a large clatter. And Salvador says, "Quick, get up.
Okay.
And he heads over and he shakes Nyla awake, too.
Oh no.
And history
Maybe
repeats itself.
Ariazi should do that.
You could get stabbed instead.
Right, exactly. So I can
Someone's
stab her
getting
back with
stabbed
my
either way.
horns.
How about this? Salvador, learning from his past mistakes, wakes her up with both hands on her wrists, like shakes her
there
from
we
her
go.
wrists.
Nyla wakes up at the start and tries to headbutt him.
Roll 1d20 plus proficiency.
God.
God.
What? You have injured him with a capital I. Oh god, now he's dead. Great.
Stars.
I can't breathe. Oh, fuck. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so because it's a crit, it's gonna be 2 times double your strength mod.
Oh god. Well, the good news is my strength mod is 0.
So you hit him, you headbutt Sal for 2 damage, and he collapses back. He's like, Nyla, why do you always do this?
Nyla finally fully wakes up and goes, "Oh god, Sal, what happened?"
And as you are asking this, there is a roar from downstairs, and something crashes.
Nyla comes fully awake at this point. Hey, so have we had a short rest, long rest, anything like that going on at this point?
That is a good question. You've probably been asleep for about 4 hours, so you've probably had a short rest at least.
Okay. I think Nyla comes fully awake. She pulls out her dagger and throws her cloak on and runs downstairs.
Sal, who still has a hand over his forehead, why does she always have to hit me? He shakes you out of your trance, Selwyn.
Okay.
Nyla's outside. She's gonna try to sneak down the stairs and see if she can stealth and see what's going on.
You got your cloak on, I assume?
I do indeed.
All right, roll stealth. Yeah, you don't need to roll again for advantage. No one notices you. What you see is quite a consternation. The bar has the front door of the bar has been broken off its hinges. Most of the tables and chairs are overturned. Some of them are broken. The bartender, who last night was keeping you very well drunk, is either dead or unconscious on the floor. And standing over him is...
Oh,
Oh.
okay. Alright.
Well, that's unpleasant.
Yep. And roll perception for me really quick, Nyla.
Oh god.
So this hulking monstrosity, who looks like he's been stitched together from a bunch of disparate body pieces, and he smells horrible. He turns around and stares almost in your direction, not quite, he doesn't see you. But carved into his chest are the words, "The Exarch sends her regards."
Motherfucker.
Oh boy.
What do?
Okay. You guys are still upstairs, right?
I
You should
imagine.
come down because you
find
just
out
ran
now.
off.
Yeah, like Sal's
Yeah.
like frantically pulling on his like his vestments
Yeah.
and everything. Like we're coming.
Okay, so Nyla, because she sneaks back upstairs into the room, and I think she like walks in while you guys are presumably still putting on all your gear.
Yeah,
And
Sal's
goes,
like putting his holy symbol back on.
We got a problem. We got to solve real fast.
Well, don't just tell us that. Tell us more about it.
Oh yeah, I
problem?
suppose I could do that. She's
Not
I think
helpful.
She's grabbing some like she hadn't taken all of her weapons, so she's grabbing them now and like strapping them around. She goes, "There's some sort of undead thing down there, and it says it's from the Exarch, and we better go kill it because it's gonna kill a bunch of people."
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
As you are saying that, you can hear screams from the floor below you.
Oh
Okay,
god!
time to go.
Now.
So I was like, ah! And he like takes off in a sprint. So let's all roll initiative now.
Just as a point of order here, so like it still doesn't know that we're here, right? Or not all of us.
Nope, it does not. It does not. Its perception score is 10. You beat it handily with your stealth roll.
Okay.
Nice.
Good. I think before we rush downstairs, Nyla's gonna like rush in front of Sal and go, before we get too far into this, let me get something. Let me just try to do a sneak surprise attack real quick.
Good plan. Good plan.
He says, okay, be careful. He is going to very quickly cast Bless before you get into initiative. Alright, so you want to go in for a sneak attack round. First roll stealth to see if that's successful.
Okay.
Which again, you almost certainly do not need to. His passive perception is 10. But you have advantage,
Well,
so...
I'm so glad I have advantage, because
Yeah.
that would be bad.
Yeah,
There
okay,
we go.
you're fine. So go ahead and roll a sneak attack. 26 damage. Woof!
Wow.
Mhm.
26 stabbing damage. Alright. So yes, that was the surprise round where you're jumping into the order with Ariazis. The flesh golem had just punched open one of the bedroom doors on the lower level when Nyla sprung into
Okay.
action and stabbed the hell out of it. There is
So
someone inside
we're
the room.
on the oh, it's inside the room. Oh, great.
It's on the ground floor, not quite inside the room yet.
I'll do conjure animal. Let's do giant frog.
Yeah,
She's
okay.
gonna summon a giant frog
I'll put that into the order right after you, I guess.
and tell it to go attack that thing.
All right, I guess have it roll to hit.
+3 to hit. All right.
5 is not a hit.
Damn it. I was like, shit.
Wow, guys.
It's
Uh.
okay. You tried, frog. You can try again.
Next up in the order is Salvador. He doesn't want to get close enough to cast Inflict Wounds. That's a touch spell. I guess Guiding Bolt's like really the only thing that he can do. Wow. Actually, okay, so I think even though the Flesh Golem's AC is 9, I think because he rolled a nat 1, it's automatically a failure.
Oh.
So yeah, no dice. Next up in the order is Selwyn.
Okay.
What you gonna
Okay.
do? What you gonna
Hit
do?
the thing.
Yeah, my goal is to hit the thing.
Hit the thing,
Since we can't hit the thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna use Witch Bolt. So I lift my skull up, and the eyes flash, and a bolt of sustained arc of lightning flashes toward him.
Alright, roll to hit. Okay. I have good news and I have bad news.
Uh-oh.
The good news is that you have hit him. The bad news is that any damage you deal instead heals him.
Shit.
So go ahead and roll damage.
Okay.
What's the damage type for that?
Lightning.
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 Because he's like a Frankenstein monster. And lightning heals him.
Oh.
Shit.
Oh, damn.
So you hit him and he seems like it's like a gentle tickling sensation for him, Selwyn.
Cool.
Nyla, you are
Nice.
back up in the top of the, or not the top of the order, you're back in the order.
Okay. I did not hide last round, so I can't do another sneak attack. I am going to actually cast Ray of Frost on him.
A 14, that is a hit. So go ahead and roll damage for Ray of Frost. 13, good hit.
Nyla looks super excited, and also then she tries to hide.
Alright, go ahead and roll. God, yeah, okay, yeah. You have
Wow.
again. Alright, so the flesh golem was like, oh, and then, like, where'd it go? I don't know, guess nowhere. So first of all, it is going to pick up the giant frog and throw it. So this is going to be a strength contest.
Oh,
in the giant
nice.
Frog. Alright,
Oh.
man.
By one, it's like, what?
But so it like half picks it up, can't quite throw it. I felt like the frog kind of like rolls onto its back for a minute. And then
Frog's like,
the golem gives up, and the golem is going to run it over and smash you, Arya.
oh no.
Go, that's a hit.
Oh man.
You,
Shit, I ain't morphed either.
Yep, you take 13 bludgeoning damage, Ariazis. Ariazis, we're back to the top of the order with you. You have a giant hulking flesh monster in front of you.
Yeah, I do, and I have 8 hit points left, so...
Salvador's like, I'll heal you!
Guess I'll morph into a panther then, God! Bite or claw, let's see.
Yep, that's a hit.
Alright, so bite is... piercing damage, we'll just say 5, because I don't want to roll it.
Are the panther's attacks considered magical? I'm gonna guess no.
No.
Okay, so that's only 2 damage. It is resistant to non-magical piercing, slashing, and bludgeoning damage.
Boo.
Alright, that is Ariaz's turn. It's the giant frog's turns, now.
Okay, so let me go back down to the frog. So it is going to try to... How far away is it from the thing?
Oh, yeah, it's within hitting distance.
Like,
not
it got rolled over.
Yeah, it got lightly brushed past.
So it's going to try to bite again, so plus 3 to hit.
Oh, nom. That's a hit. Roll damage.
Alright.
Woo.
Or you can just say
Okay.
you use the damage.
Yeah, it's 4 piercing damage, and the target is grappled.
Salvador is up next. He was like, I'll heal you, and then you turn into a panther. He's like, okay, never mind. You seem fine now. He's gonna cast, I guess, Guiding Bolt at a 2nd level? That's a hit. And that deals 5d6 radiant damage. Those are shitty rolls, is what this is. Like, it's just a bunch of really shitty rolls. And next up in the order is Selwyn.
Okay, so I definitely dropped my concentration on Witch Bolt.
Yep, that's a good idea.
That didn't work.
And I am instead going to cast Ray of Sickness at a 2nd level.
What type of damage does that do?
Poison?
Bad news.
Yep.
Into poison damage.
Well, then I'm just gonna mark off that spell slot.
True Strike is always a good idea.
Yep.
Next up in the order is Nyla.
Now seeing all this magic flying around is thinking it's probably time to start using pointy weapons.
Yeah, stabby.
You do know that it is resistant to non-magical weapons, so you have to use Bite.
Okay, that's
If you
cool.
want to
'cause
deal
it's-
full damage.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I've been staying up in the rafters because of distance, but I'm gonna come downstairs closer to it, so I'm in melee range, and I'm gonna throw a bite. And so it was hiding, so it's a sneak attack, right?
Yeah, you are hiding, so coming out of hiding will be a sneak attack.
Okay, so I got an advantage for the attack roll.
24 is a hit. Roll damage.
Oi.
Woof.
Oh shit!
With the big hits.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
There we go. That's how we do.
And you want to recall it?
Yes.
Alright, so that's 1d4 plus 4 extra damage. 7. Woof. It's getting low.
Oh,
it's getting
God.
low. It's getting low.
Getting this, and then she's gonna try to hide again in the shadows.
Alright, go ahead and roll.
The +9 is holy fuck.
Wow.
You're, like, incapable
Another
of
nat
rolling
20.
less than
Nice.
20 on a hide.
Although, you know, I
Wow.
have to tell you, of all the places I would have rolled that 20, that's not...
That's not it, no.
I mean, it's fine. Nyla disappears into the shadow.
It's a hit. It takes 13 damage. Does that kill it?
Nope, it's got 18 points, so...
And it's gonna hit it again.
Okay, now it's dead.
So it kills the frog.
Yep.
Uh,
no.
Next up in the order is Ariazi's again.
She's like, oh no, Froggy, it's okay, you
I like
did
to
your
imagine
best.
Sal's like this golem hits the frog and Sal's like, I'll heal it, and then the golem
frog
hits it
just
again. He's
explodes.
Like, all right, never mind.
No! It's okay. I can summon another friend some other time. Okay. How far away is it from me?
You are within melee range of it, as I recall, because you just
No,
hit
that's
it
right,
last time
okay.
as a panther.
Okay, so I'm going to claw it.
18 is a hit, so
And then yeah, it's just 4 damage, so 2 basically.
Alright.
Slashing damage.
so yeah, okay. That is Ariazi's turn. The giant frog is no longer in the initiative order.
Mm-hmm.
It is Salvador's turn. He's like, I'm gonna try to kill it real quick. And he casts Guiding Bolt at a 3rd level.
Jeez.
Salvador just
Oh
can't.
my god, that's his second one!
That's the second time he's rolled a nat 1 on the guiding bolt. Okay, that's Salvador's turn. He's like, I'm sorry, I must be tired or something.
Is it because I headbutted him?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Yeah, that's, you know what, I'm gonna say that. That's canon.
Right, exactly. You knocked him
Yeah.
out of sorts.
He's got a concussion.
Oh, great.
Like, wow, the room sure is spinning. So when you're
Okay.
up, lightning
who-
and poison are no bueno.
Yes, I'm using Cloud of Daggers at a 3rd level. It just automatically takes 44 when it enters the spell's area for the first time or starts its turn there.
That is exactly enough to kill it.
Oh, nice!
Alrighty, well done. So the flesh golem makes this pain sound, and then Ariazis, I want you to make a quick dexterity saving throw. It is falling
Okay.
directly over on top of you. 19 is good enough. So you manage to leap dexterously out of the way just as the golem collapses forward. And Salvador's like, oh, well that's good. Now if only the room would stop spinning.
Are you okay? What
Our guy's
happened?
just gonna morph back.
Oh yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about me.
Nyla looks down at the golem and looks at Sound and she goes, oh, so it's fine if we kill that.
Well, this is a construct, Nala. It doesn't have a soul.
You didn't know it can have a family.
No, it doesn't. It's a construct.
What if it has a little construct family?
That's not possible. It can't reproduce.
Nyla doesn't know anything about constructs, by the way.
Yeah,
Oh,
clearly.
wow, we're shocked. Yeah. I have
So-
8 hit points left, by the way.
Sal's gonna heal you then.
Okay.
Cast Cure Wounds at a 3rd level, so that's... You regain 28 hit points,
Yay.
Ariazis. And he's like, does that feel better, Ziriazus?
It does. Are you okay? You did sound a little weird.
Thank you so much for asking. He hugs you.
She hugs him back like, I think he's very damaged. I think you hurt his brain, Nyla.
What
Nyla
did you
has-
do?
Nyla has remembered the potentially dead person on the floor, and she remembered that he was very nice and gave her a lot of beer, and so she runs over there.
Of course.
14 is good enough. You stabilize the innkeeper.
Woohoo!
He is
Nyla
still
surprises
extremely
the rest of
unconscious, though. He is just... it wasn't very hard. Like, the golem doesn't have too many complicated attacks. It's mostly, like, just hit.
Smash.
And if you, like, stop the bleeding, that's... Okay, congratulations, it's stable again.
Nyla, I think she like looks down amazed at like the person who's like not dead, and she's like, "Well, I ain't never done that before."
And Salvador finally, he, like, waddles over, kind of dizzily, to the golem, and he kind of, you know, nudges it with his foot to turn it over, and sees the message carved across his chest, and he says, oh golly. That's I mean, at a guess, that is probably not good if I had to guess.
You know, I kind of feel like, yeah, probably you're right.
Yeah.
What, the Exarch knowing where we're staying? The Exarch knowing about us? Yeah, probably not good.
Probably
Seems
not
a little
great.
mad. I think she's angry. This Exarch, this person. Yeah.
I was like gonna look at the rest of you and be like, "Is there any way we can, y'all magic users can trace where this is coming from, or like how she knew where to find us? Don't you have
I
like
just kind of blink at you.
spell? I don't know. I have the ability to make a bunch of things real shiny to distract stuff, but that's really about it." Nyla conjures up Mage Hand, is like, "See, this is what I can do."
Like, I mean,
Sure, some wizards could do that.
Salvador's like, I mean, I know that there are spells that can do that, but that's really more a wizard's wheelhouse, and if our wizard ain't knowing it, then...
So you're saying we have a useless wizard?
That's not.
Excuse you!
That is not nice, Nyla.
I'm just repeating what Salvador said.
No, some
Well, I
wizards
mean-
can do it.
She's not useless, she just has a different specialty.
There we
Yeah,
go.
that's code for useless.
Anything else you want to do? I imagine you're gonna... Salvador will head over and maybe he'll, like, slap him with, a first level cure... Slap the innkeeper with, like, a first level cure wounds just to wake him up.
I feel like we should call the authorities. There's people are gonna think we did this.
Well, and also, we could ask the vizier. You know, she's a different type of wizard, presumably, than I am, so she might be
That's
able
true.
to track.
Did it only attack the innkeeper, as far as we know?
Yeah, we heard screaming, multiple screaming.
It was about, yes, now that you look toward the source of... He burst through the first bedroom in the on the ground floor. He woke up the people inside, but he did not have the chance to attack them before you got to them.
Oh, okay.
So
Good.
so far as you are aware, the innkeeper is the only victim. Although he smashed his way into town somehow.
Yeah.
But Salvador wakes up the innkeeper with the first level cure wounds. He comes awake with a shudder. And Salvador's like, "It's all right now. We killed the big nasty construct. It's fine." Anything else you guys want to do before we skip forward to the rest of the plot?
Make sure we take Sassy this time.
Right?
Nyla just wants to get...
Like, Sassy was, like, there, like, in the room when this panic went up and, like, deliberately did nothing. Like, just kind of sat there.
Nyla wants to get some more sleep.
Like, anyway, fuck this.
Right?
Yeah, I think she, like, looks around at the destruction and she goes, like, well, it's not my problem. And she, like, goes upstairs and falls asleep right away.
Salvador volunteers to stay up and help clean everything up because he's
Yeah, Argosy just like watches Nyla leave, like, seriously?
I'm not surprised anymore.
How can she sleep? Okay, no questions. It's okay.
So Salvador volunteers to help the innkeeper pick up at least like the dangerous parts.
Yeah, Arez is gonna help too.
All right. So, what about you, Selwyn? Do you want to help or do you want to go up after Nyla?
No, I'm gonna help.
All right. So everyone except Nyla helps the innkeeper. And it's kind of an arduous process, because, he did a lot of destruction in a very short amount of time, but you managed to pick up the worst of it. Dawn comes. Nyla has benefited from a long rest.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Nyla comes downstairs and is, like, really well rested, and is, like, making a big show out of, like, yawning, being like, oh, God, I slept so good.
We're all so happy for you, Nyla. You didn't even have to stab anyone when you woke up this time.
I didn't stab you last night, and you know it.
Yeah, let's see how many ways you can bodily injure me. So, Dawn comes. You got directions to the governor's palace in Arabel, which turns out to be a lovely, stately white brick building in the center of the city. And the guards, under normal circumstances, you're used to having to, like, sweet talk guards to get past them, but you are recognized right away. When you come up and start to, open the conversation. And yeah, they immediately let you in. They're a little worried about Sassy. Sassy just kind of, stares deliberately at them and says absolutely nothing. Just kind of like power moves their way past.
Oh God, of course.
The governor's mansion is gorgeous. It's what you would expect from a political leader of a huge city like Arabel. The floor is flagstone. The walls are covered in like tapestries and paintings. It's resplendent. And just as you were coming into the foyer, you see Anda Firewise coming down a nearby set of stairs, and she says, "Oh, I was just about to come looking for you. How did you sleep?"
Not great.
Oh, so well. So well.
Ariazi's like versus Nyla. Like, you could be less Gollum-y, but
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, there might have been a golem.
Flesh golem.
What? Where?
In our inn.
I'll let the guard know and I'll have them investigate right away. I'm so sorry. She heads to a nearby guard and just mutters something to them, and the guard nods and heads off, and she says, "I really can't apologize enough. I thought our city was more defensible than this. Especially, the new heroes of Arabel. To have them treated like this, cannot apologize enough. Are you okay? Do you need anything?"
We're fine now, thank you.
We're mostly just a little concerned about how it got into the city without anyone noticing.
Yeah, so am I. She says, like, that's also very worrying for me.
Well, good. I'm glad we're both worried about it. Well, it's dead now, so that's good at least.
That's good. I guess we owe you another round of thanks for killing a dangerous creature.
It was nothing. It was nothing.
She says, "Listen, I had a talk with the governor." She kind of gestures for you to follow her. She heads up a set of stairs onto a landing that overlooks the main foyer, and then into a separate. It's like a little sitting room with a long table and chairs on either side of it, and there's a large treasure chest sitting on the end of the table. And she says, "We have agreed to give you this as a thank you for all your service to the city of Arabel."
Nyla's already over there and she's trying to count it.
Nyla.
You pull open the treasure chest, Nyla. Inside are 200 gold pieces.
Yay!
Which you can divvy up. That would be like 50 a person if you want to get into it, or you could just put it with the communal gold that you all just have.
Nyla's the one that's looking and counting at it, and Ariazi's like, I don't care.
Just gonna say, since he's not willing to haggle, does Sal really need to hold on to more money?
Sal should absolutely not hold on to her money.
All of this.
Sal should hold none of our money.
It's D&D. You can divide it however you want. Nyla wasn't 100% wrong about Sal. Like, he grew up with a lot of money, so he doesn't really understand why it matters. So he's perfectly willing to have none of it. He's like, oh, that's fine.
Like, okay.
I think Nyla takes it. She goes, "We'll discuss how this gets divvied up later."
Oh my god!
Which means
I just kind of roll my eyes.
And Nyla disappears that next night.
Exactly. We have to make sure that she doesn't run off with it.
I know your alter ego.
Oh, that's right. Selwyn's got dirt. Oh.
Don't you, motherfucker! I swear to God.
Oh, that's fine.
I just give you a look when I notice that you have that like half an inkling of just running.
Nyla's always vaguely thinking about running, so
Exactly. Now I do thank
Sweet,
you,
yeah.
Zir.
the money is very pretty. We appreciate it. Thank you.
She's like, okay, I hadn't been going for pretty, but I guess that's good to know. She says, is there anything else that we can do for you?
Yes. Do you know anything about this Exarch or where golems could be appearing from?
She says, I'm sorry, I've never heard of an Exarch. I can tell you what I know of golems. I don't think it's anything most people don't know.
Well, I know nothing about golems, so
She says, well, flesh golems are one of a handful of constructs, which means they were deliberately made by some magical or scientific means. Flesh golems are usually reconstructed from various corpses and brought to life with necromantic magic.
I thought they couldn't cast magic. Isn't that the whole point of this?
In some rare cases, flesh golems can be brought to life without magic. But what do you mean they can't cast magic?
Ariadnes looks at like the wizard like
We're tracking a cult of Bashaba, and there's something going on with their magic. They're not their warlocks aren't able to cast.
That baffles her as much as it baffled you the first time you heard it, Selwyn. That's bizarre.
We were gonna head back to Candlekeep to speak with my professor to see if he knows anything more.
Oh, Candlekeep.
Before we do that, though,
I'm an alumnus myself. She says with like a little, a flurry of pride. She says, "I'm very familiar with it. I can certainly teleport you there."
No, before we let this lovely lady go, does she know any way potentially? Do you know any way to track where Golem came from?
She says I'll have her roll Arcana actually. She rolled a net one. It's like the fourth one we've had today. I mean, I guess we are crit fail club, so
I know, right?
Brought it on ourselves.
We fail hard and we fail frequently. She says there might be some way I can look into it, and if is the corpse of it still.
Nyla looks around the rest of you with like this look like I don't fucking know.
Like we carried it outside after we cleaned up the inn. She says, all right, well, I can go take a look at the body, and maybe there might be some tracking spell. I'd have to really look into it. But if I find anything, I can certainly get back into contact with you and let you know.
We'd appreciate that.
She says, all right, well, again, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And if you want me to cast that teleportation spell for you?
Oh, yes, please.
Yes, please.
And she says, all right, well, luckily for you, Candlekeep has a permanent teleportation circle inside of it, so it should work very well. Any last minute questions before she casts the spell?
Oh, can you tell us any more about that fissure, the what they call it, the scar?
The scar? What about it?
Just when did it appear? After all those earthquakes?
Yeah, around about time all of those earthquakes, yes.
Pause, DM question. Did we actually like notice anything funky about it? Like any feelings, or just weird that it was just a fissure?
No, it was just a really strange, impressive, admittedly, fissure. You did not feel anything.
We did not go anywhere near.
Yeah, nope.
I want so badly to go across that thing.
I know.
When it first appeared, it was quite a bit more dangerous than it is now, but luckily, it's fine now. Everything has been settled. It shouldn't be dangerous. Did you encounter anything dangerous inside of it?
Well, we didn't go inside the scar,
I mean,
but we went inside the temple.
Yeah, that's probably for the best. It's probably not a great idea to
Yeah, right.
It.
We thought
even
it was
if it's no
also...
longer magically volatile, it is still just a really big fissure.
Yeah, but we went in the temple that was split in half. There were many children there, perhaps a goddess. Maybe, we're not sure.
What was that?
It was like, sorry, what was that last?
What was that last part that you said?
We saw this lady. I mean, Sal didn't see it. We saw it. Long hair.
We saw someone and she vanished.
Yeah, she just disappeared.
I'm afraid I don't know anything about that. You think it was a goddess? Gods
It's
don't generally
feeling.
manifest in the prime material plane.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't me, but we thought it was since they can't use magic, and maybe she was coming to investigate. I don't really know. It was creepy.
He says, I'm afraid this really isn't my area of expertise, but the good news is, Candlekeep is a great place to get questions answered.
Yay!
It is
Very
literally
true.
It is literally probably the best place in Faerun to get questions answered. So she knocks her staff against the ground, and the runes of the spell teleport and circle around your feet. And she says, all right, well, again, thank you very much for all your help. If you ever need anything from the city of Arabel, please don't hesitate to ask. And have a good... And as she's like saying goodbye, like you abruptly teleport. So Candlekeep is basically the biggest library on the continent. And it is not easy to get into. And when I say get into, like, it's not like an academic institution. Like, it's not a place where you can go to... It's not like a university. It's just a library. And literally getting into the door, there's usually like a high price. Like, you have to bring them something, like, usually it's like a book. Like, you have to bring them a very rare and valuable book in order to get in. But yeah, you kind of went in the back way. You went in from the permanent teleportation zone. So you do not have to worry about that. You kind of teleport right into the ground floor of this massive castle. And immediately you know you are in Candlekeep. It is this huge echoing room, this big rounded walls, and every single wall that is not a door is a shelf. And every single shelf is absolutely fucking packed with books. The air smells like dust. There are flickering candles on every available surface and hanging from the ceiling. It is just as you remembered it, Selwyn.
Yay!
It is, in fairness, a beautiful building if you're into the book aesthetic. And Salvador's like, I've never actually been to Candlekeep before.
It's so nice!
So where's this, what was your professor's name?
This is the player not remembering. I know it starts with E. Where did I put the note? Shit!
Like, just knowing how plot integral this character is, you struggling to remember his name for, like, the third time in a row is absolutely hilarious to me.
Elminster. That's what the name is.
Elminster. Yes, that is his name. Like, all right, well, where is he? Where can we go find him?
His office is down this way if he's not, busy.
Which, it's kind of a crapshoot. Elminster has a strange concept of what being busy means.
Oh shit.
But you know exactly where to find him. He has sort of a permanent residence in one of the private study rooms, and the door that Selwyn guides you to is like this whole building is so labyrinthine. She goes like up 2 sets of stairs and then for some reason down a second set of stairs, but just one time, and then around a corner that really shouldn't be possible to make. And finally to this really big red door with a brass knocker on it. It is closed at the moment.
Doot, 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 doot.
It takes him a minute. You hear in the distance, "Who's there?" And
It's Selwyn!
just one moment, hang on. You hear like something falls over. There's like the sound
I'm
of
naked.
a cat
Wait a minute.
meowing.
Ah!
And then suddenly, the door is pulled open just a crack, and you see a tiny, a tiny sliver of a face through the door, and he says, "Is it really, Selwyn? You can never be too careful, doppelgangers."
This is an old thing, I'm guessing. Okay. No, it's me. Remember I asked you for that book and my 5th year?
Oh yes, that's definitely Selwyn. So he pulls the door open, and the man you see standing before you, this motherfucker.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
Those are awesome robes.
He is a wizard with a capital W. He in this picture that I posted in Discord, he looks very impressive. He does not look quite as impressive standing in front of you. His hair is kind of, tangled, and he looks kind of haggard, and he's got dark bags under, and his eyes are like, "So glad that you can make it, Selwyn, my dear. Who are your friends?" He opens the door to let you all inside.
Oh, this is Nyla, and this is Ariazis, and that's Sal.
Hello.
Hey.
I think you met Sassy last time.
Sassy's like, "What's up, oldie?"
Oh, God.
He supported your endeavors into necromancy because he also agrees that the pursuit of knowledge is important, but he also just doesn't like undead creatures. They're evil aligned, and he doesn't really like them. He's like, "Oh yeah, that one." He says, Well, very nice to meet you all. Do make yourselves at home. So this office is overfull with books. There's like, you thought the proper library was bad. This is a mess. Like, every single available space of shelf is occupied, and also a lot of areas that aren't shelf are very occupied with book. There's books on the love seat, there's books on the desk, there's books on the floor, on the chairs. They're fucking everywhere. And yeah, it looks like it has not been cleaned in quite some time. But Selwyn, you are used to this. The others, however...
Yeah, I was going to say, I just find a stack of the thickest books and just sit on top.
And so, Elminster, he pulls one of the books that are closer to the top of one of the many piles by his desk. He says, "Got your letter. Very, very interesting. Now, you, as I recall, you claimed that the warlocks of a particular cult of Bashaba could not cast magic. Is that correct?"
That's right.
He says, "No. Generally speaking, the only reason a warlock wouldn't be able to use magic is because their pact has been somehow jeopardized. That is how warlocks gain their magic, you understand. They make a pact with a power, usually a god, or perhaps if they are a little less ambitious, a devil of some kind, minor celestials. Usually, having a pact jeopardized means that they have reneged on the terms of the deal that they made with their patron. That all of them stopped being able to use magic at once, however, that, it's very unlikely that they all broke their pact at the same time, just, as a coincidence. It just doesn't
Yeah,
seem
they sound like they were still very dedicated.
Yes, and so it is very unlikely that all of them broke the terms of their pact. Now, it is possible for a pact to be broken from the other side. The warlocks only are able to use magic because their patron says they can. And if for whatever reason their patron decided not to give them magic, they would have no recourse. They would suddenly be able to not use magic anymore. Patrons can, in theory, just not honor their end of the pact. It's very unusual, however, and it usually means that there's something wrong with the patron.
I mean, that would fit with the notes that we found, wouldn't it?
He says, "It certainly would. The notes that you sent along," he slips a pair of glasses onto his nose, and it's a mystery how he knows where anything is in this shithole of a room. But
Not to me!
He finds the letter that you sent him pretty easily, and he flips through the pages, and he says, "These are all very complex and arcane notes, but they are trying to experiment. They're trying to rule out the fact that all magic forever has just stopped working, in which they have. They have successfully ruled that magic itself is still working. The fabric is still in existence. Going upward from there, it seems like there's no recourse for them. They cannot cast any magic whatsoever. Very, very unusual."
Especially, they did just send a golem after us. A flesh golem.
Flesh golem, that's very unusual. Normally reanimated with magic, but it is possible to do so without... Oh, it is also possible that it was animated with magic before this whole thing shook out. And Salvador nudges you. He says, "Selwyn, we should tell him about the thing."
The thing?
The thing that we saw.
Oh, yes, the thing. Sorry, I'm a little distracted by being back in Candlekeep.
Oh, yes, it's quite a distractible place, isn't it? They updated the fiction section.
No.
Wait, focus.
We'll talk about that in a sec. We saw something down in the Broken Temple. It's near an odd fissure in the continent.
Yes, the scar.
Yeah, the scar.
Yes, I know all about that. Go on.
Yeah, so we were down in there trying to save some children, and right after we defeated these hellhounds, we saw this woman, but we don't know if it was a woman actually, and she was holding her head and looked pained. Does pain sound right? Yeah, long stringy hair.
We thought she was dead at first.
We did actually.
But then she moved. That was creepy.
And she asked us a question. What did she ask us? What was that?
I was talking actually about the corpse.
Oh yeah, that's right. So he didn't see.
I didn't
what
see
we saw.
the lady. Elminster is watching this, just sort of bemused.
Yeah, there was a body and there was blood, and they left a message. It was really creepy.
Elminster at this point is like he's sort of thinking like you're just kind of rambling at him, and he's kind of like, all right, maybe this isn't quite as interesting as I thought it was gonna be.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so this creepy body.
He takes a sip of
Creepy
tea.
even for me.
He takes a sip of his tea, just kind of, mm-hmm.
There was a message painted presumably in its blood. There's no way out but through. She'll find the. I kind of glance at the others for what was it? Pillars holding the world.
Elminster chokes on his tea.
Uh-oh.
So what was that, dear? This is very, very important. Please, specifically, what did it say?
All right. I sit. I pause. I think. I go into my recitation voice. She has no way out but through. She'll find the pillars that hold the world and bring it down around her. Above, below, between.
Elminster very, very slowly sets down his cup of tea. He says, well then. And he abruptly stands up and he starts poring over, his finger traces the titles, the spines of the books on one of the shelves, and he says, that is not good.
What is it?
He pulls off one of the books and he flips it open and he sets it down on top of, you're not even sure, it's mostly books at this point. Maybe it was a table at one point. It's really hard to say. He sets it down on top of the mess and he flips through it and he says, well, here's the thing. There are 3 artifacts that are called the World Pillars. He says, he keeps starting to explain something and then faltering and trying to, rephrase it a little bit better. He says, all right. Before we, the communal we, the intelligentsia we, had a good understanding of the planet system, the phrase above, below, between was an antiquated term to describe the only 3 planes that we knew of at the time, what we now refer to as the 3 inner planes, above meaning the Feywild, below meaning the Shadowfell, and between the prime material plane, the plane that we are on presently. And he says, now, the pillars, and he starts to get a little nervous. The pillars refer to the world pillars, as I mentioned. They are 3 very powerful magical artifacts which flow with the same energy that holds together matter. All matter. Everywhere. It would be unbelievably difficult, but not wholly impossible, to destroy them, as this ominous blood message mentioned. And if they were destroyed, it would bring down the center pillars that hold the multiverse together.
Uh-oh.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
Okay, Nyla was actually paying attention to that.
I think as soon as things got, she was definitely paying attention.
Right around when he dropped his tea, she's like, oh, finally, he's done talking. Oh no,
when
he's
he was talking
again.
about arcane magic books, she doesn't give a shit about that, but this sounds interesting.
He says, now what I remember of the lore surrounding the world pillars is that there are 3, there are one of each within each of the 3 central planes, one in the Feywild, one in the Shadowfell, and one somewhere in the prime material plane. He hesitates, he's like, I have some experience with plane walking, although not as much as I should like. I do not know a great deal about the Feywild or the Shadowfell, unfortunately. And Arya, I would like you to roll an intelligence check, please.
Oh dear.
A 16. When you hear the Feywild, so druidic magic is tied very strongly to the Feywild, and elves are actually tied very strongly to the Feywild. If you needed to get into the Feywild, which it seems like you might have to do at this point, perhaps, although it is still very early, the first person you would want to talk to is your father. If there's anyone in the world who would know where to even start in getting into the Feywild, it would probably be your father.
So she perks up oh, the Feywild. I see. Okay, perhaps no, nobody knows about the Feywild. Okay, great.
Yeah, I mean, I know a little.
I know a little bit.
Nyla stares at her and is like, yeah, where fairies or something comes from.
Sure, that, and my druidic magic, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, well, no, you get your druidic magic from Myliki, actually. The Feywild, with that same 16 roll, what you know about the Feywild is that it is a realm of extraordinarily heightened emotion. It is very beautiful, extraordinarily dangerous. It is sort of a It's almost like it's sort of Alice in Wonderlandy. It's very Wonderlandy. Beautiful and extraordinarily dangerous to even go into. But definitely possible. There are ways to get in, you're pretty sure.
Yeah. That sounds like pretty much up her alley. It's like, okay, you know how they're like really cool looking mushrooms and they're really bright and pretty looking? That's what the Feywild is like.
Salvador's like, I do not understand that explanation at all.
Really, really, really bright, really pretty, and also very dangerous. Could kill you. Probably will kill you.
Well, I think I was just gonna check that one off the list of places we don't want to go there.
You know what? I think we don't have a choice, but you know who does know a lot about that is my daddy.
Oh, I love your dad.
Yeah.
Have you actually met her father, Selwyn? Like,
Yeah,
you have?
once.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we established that, I thought.
Yeah, that's
Neat.
backstory.
I did not know that, but that's cool.
Nyla's just staring blankly between the two of you with like growing horror on her face.
Yes, we must go talk to Qatar about this.
Why? Why? Why?
Let's go on an adventure to meet Qatar.
And he says, well, I mean, that is not the only place where you might need to go, it seems. There are 3 world pillars, not just the one in the Feywild. And he says, I am quite familiar with the prime material plane. I don't mind having a look around for that. But the Shadowfell I am not quite as familiar with. He pulls his glasses off and he goes over to his desk and he starts fiddling around with some things. He says, I have a very good friend, however. It's been a minute since I've seen him. He knows the Shadowfell quite well, mostly because he was recently trapped there for about 20 years.
Oh.
But he got very familiar with it as a consequence. At last I heard he's sort of recovering with friends in Neverwinter. I can put you into contact with him if you like. He might give you a good place to start.
Nyla steps up at this point. So I think we all need to slow down perhaps a little bit here. What exactly what are we doing? Why would we want to collect these things? What are we gonna do with them? I don't know about you guys, but
Were you absent from the first half of this conversation, Miss Halfling?
I was not really paying attention, to be completely honest.
There's your first problem. The world pillars, as I mentioned, are the 3 powerful magical artifacts that hold the entire universe together.
And that's so great for them. I'm so excited that they do that.
It sounds, according to this prophecy, like someone is trying to destroy them.
Oh, great. And you know what? You know what I think? I think we should notify the proper authorities.
Oh, who are those?
Someone else.
Listen, we must assume that time is short because it would be dangerous to assume otherwise.
Would it?
It
Yes.
kind of sounds like, world is going to end, and then, like, there's no money if there's no world.
I just don't know if I'm perhaps best described as a person of action. I would like to say I'm perhaps more of a person of thievery and comfort.
Right, and you can't have those things if there is no world.
Salvador says, Nyla, listen, sometimes things happen and there's no authority to appeal to. There's nothing to do but to do it yourself.
That has not been my experience, Sal.
It is going to be now.
Usually someone in charge who is not, more power than we're just 4 people. We're just 4 people trying to make some money. Well, and you, Sal.
4 people trying to make money and also Salvador. And he says, the more time we waste arguing, the more time this ominous threat has to destroy the world pillars and rip the universe in half. He says, now I am sorry that it ended up being you who found this odious prophecy, but it was you, and you must act quickly.
What do you suggest we do first?
That is up to you. So listen, I have designed the rest of this campaign to be a sort of like choose the branching path. So right now you have 3 paths that you can choose. You can chase one of the pillars on the Shadowfell. You can chase one of the pillars on the Feywild. And Elminster has said that he's going to look into the one on the prime material plane, and you can stay and help him with that if you would rather. So to be clear, the rest of the campaign depends on which order you want to do this in. I have no preconceptions. Okay. If you want to start with the Shadowfell, it sounds like Elminster is going to direct you to this friend that he mentioned that's in Neverwinter that knows a lot about the Shadowfell. If you want to start with the Feywild, you'll find a Qatar and start there.
What about the secret 4th option, which is taking Sal back to Baldur's Gate?
Nope, that's not an option.
Baldur's Gate is on the way to Neverwinter.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay. I'm sorry. Do we know yet that the one is in Neverwinter yet?
Yeah, he said.
Yeah, he mentioned it.
He mentioned that he had a friend. He hasn't said the name or anything, but
Okay.
he has a friend.
But he did say that they were recovering in Neverwinter.
Nyla's gonna look around exasperated, everybody in the room, and be like, I don't know why I fell in with you crazy people. I don't know how I ended up in a
You
situation.
stole my shit.
It's
That
true.
was
That's how we met. You stole from me.
Yeah, like you stole shit, and then we were like, "Don't do that."
that was how it happened. That was a pretty good time. I still have that finger bone. Look, if we are gonna do this thing, we should at least have the appropriate funds to make sure that we can carry on this crazy ass nonsense.
Salvador's ears are wilting. He already sees where this is going.
Wouldn't we agree, Selwyn and Ariazis?
I always prefer seeing Guitar because he's my father, but I think looks at Selwyn like, help.
So again, this is up to you, the players. I will tailor the campaign to whichever direction you want to go first.
Well, my vote is we go to Baldur's Gate and then make a stop to Neverwinter.
And what exactly is your plan for that?
I have a plan.
You've told me that, but you haven't said anything else.
It is a secret plan.
Yeah, I don't
Secret
think
plans
we
don't
can-
work great.
Yeah, we can't really go with a secret plan, Nyla. We need to have a real plan.
Experience. No, it is a real plan. It's a real plan I don't tell people about.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that we all need to know about the plan.
Salvador finally speaks up and he says, "Listen, it's all right. I mean, Nyla was right about one thing. I can't just not see my family ever again, right? That's crazy. And you all are very nice and very persuasive, and I'm sure if you just tried to nicely talk my father out of forcing me to marry against my will, then I'm sure that'll work. It'll probably work, right?" He's looking up at you desperately like, "Right? It'll work."
Yes, it will definitely work. I think. I hope.
He seems
That looks
somewhat
like
bolstered by
stress.
that. Like, yeah, it'll definitely work. Yeah, for sure.
Look, I'm a very persuasive person. Let's just put
That's
it that
true.
way.
You are very persuasive. Like,
And,
he's desperately trying to cling to any hope afforded to him.
And look, I don't want to get into it, but I have a theory. I have a thought about what we're gonna do. Okay, I have a plan, and I'll get you out of it. Okay, I promise. I got connections.
Okay. I'm sure it'll
I
be
gotta-
fine.
I've got a question for the DM.
Yeah.
Has Sal mentioned that, like, his father has anybody particular in mind? Or,
He mentioned that he was being married. He was trying to force him to marry a specific woman.
Okay.
But they have not said who it is.
Okay. Because I have no idea where Nyla is going with this. Like, none.
He says,
Nor will you until it happens.
so Elminster has been watching this whole thing unfold, and he says, "So does this mean that you want to find my friend in Neverwinter?"
Yeah, I mean, I suppose we can head that way after we pick up our money.
All right. He heads over to his desk. He scribbles down a name and an address. He says, "No, he's not in Neverwinter. He was very close to Neverwinter, however." And he hands you a piece of paper with a name written on it.
Okay.
And he says, "I've given you directions. I will also send him a spell of sending to let him know to expect company. He should be able to help you with any questions you have about the Shadowfell."
Okay. So, and he's gonna look up about the prime material plane.
Yeah, Elminster says he's gonna start doing research into where the world pillar is in the prime material plane. Because it's gotta be
Okay.
somewhere.
And then Ariazi's dad is the person about the Feywild. Okay.
Yep. I can't wait to play him.
Yes.
I can't wait either.
I
Big
can't
gay
wait
dumb
either.
dad. Here we come.
Elminster says, "I will do all the research I can on the prime material plane. In the meantime, it is best if we divide our labor. So yes, go do talk to my friend. Selwyn, where do you put the paper? Like, where do you have you even looked at the paper yet, or are you just kind of stuffing it away? Like, yep, okay,
Oh, no, I look at it.
all right. So the first couple lines on this paper are, he's like, it's like 8.5 leagues due southwest of Neverwinter, near the woods. And the name at the very bottom of the piece of paper reads Mordenkainen. Elminster, by the way, is already muttering to himself, like, "I'm gonna have to find several more books."
Yeah.
Did we get an idea? Because it's not. I was paying attention, but how does it have anything specifically to do with Bashava? Like, or is it just like a coincidence?
What specifically? What are you asking?
Nyla does not like talking to Elminster, so she like reluctantly goes up to him and is like, "Do you know specifically? Is this because Bashava's evil, or is it just sort of a general god thing? Where is this like? like, it doesn't seem like Bashab would want to destroy the world.
He says, yes, I mean, destroying the world pillars, it seems... don't get me wrong, it is quite chaotic and quite evil, but it is also insane. You know, like, destroying the world pillars would destroy all matter as we understand it in our multiverse. It is suicidally stupid.
That feels like something a god wouldn't do.
Exactly, and you're not wrong, but if this, listen, I have learned to trust ominous prophecies written in blood. It's a long story, but generally speaking, if you find it, scrawled in the blood of a dying man, it's probably quite important. And generally correct. And Salvador's like, wasn't there a letter somewhere that says something about a prophet gouging his eyes out?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you never quite made that connection. But yes, the letter did mention a prophet that gouged his eyes out. And then a couple of sessions later, you come across a man with his eyes gouged out with an ominous message written in blood. Like, I don't know how much more plot obvious I could have made it.
Apparently a little more.
Like a big old sign that said, "This is relevant to the plot," hanging around the corpse's neck.
This is why we shouldn't let Nyla keep notes and things.
It's absolutely true. The only thing I keep is gold and material objects. Nyla was like, it didn't look like it had any value, so I just... like, she absolutely left that at the temple. She did not take that with her.
So I've learned to trust, so especially if this was a prophet. Yes, absolutely. Trust ominous messages written in blood. Try to find the world pillars. If nothing, keep them safe from anyone else. They've never been a target of a direct attack before. We don't know what will happen if something destroys one of them.
Natalie gets like a glint in her eye and she goes, I'm gonna have to think about that for my next scheme. Ominous messages in blood.
God.
Ariazis just rolls her eyes.
Actually, Professor, could you check on something for us? There is,
He's already got like 3 armfuls of books and muttering about how he has to go find more.
Professor, Sal did this kind of odd magic when we first met him, and then Arya noticed something weird about, like, I don't know, it was his aura?
Oh yeah, that's right. He was glowing blue. It was really weird, but also cool. When I did the detect magic.
Elminster, he looks like he's now in a hurry because, there's a threat to the end of the world. Okay, well, we gotta work at that. He sighs impatiently and he looks at Salvador and is like, well, I don't know what weird magic. He's a cleric, so if you want to look after what weird magic, look into his god. And Salvador's like, goddess, actually. He's like, whatever. And he quickly casts a spell over Salvador and he says, yes, he's under the effect of the spell Modify Memory.
What?
I'm sorry, what?
Huh? You're under the effect of the spell Modify Memory. Look it up. Listen, I really should get to work on this.
Okay, you can go. Bye.
Modify Memory?
What do you mean? Who can undo it?
He says, I don't know, but it's a pretty powerful spell. You'd have to find a pretty powerful spellcaster. Maybe Mordenkainen can do it for you. I really have to go. And he hurries past you. Like, he shoves past Selwyn.
Well,
I'm just kind of, like, staring open-mouthed.
Yes, like, Salvador is also looking pretty, like, stricken. Like, Modify Memory? And he's like, he's trying to remember when did that happen, but then his memory was modified. He wouldn't remember.
This is very concerning, y'all.
Salvador also looks very concerned.
Right. His memory, it was modified. That means it was changed or removed.
I mean, somebody wants to hide something about him. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Salvador's
what
also
are you?
very nervous. Oh, no. I don't want my memory to be modified.
Is he gonna be like evil or something?
Am I gonna be evil?
All right.
I don't want to be
know
evil.
what?
I highly doubt it.
Look at him. Does he look like he's capable of evil?
He frantically shakes Nyla. I don't want to be evil.
Oh God!
You're
Oh God!
upsetting him.
I don't think
I
he's
don't want to
capable.
be evil. I'm upset. I'm very upset right now.
And I feel like this is like the tone of the whole walk back to Baldur's Gate. Like, Salvador just,
I
like,
don't want to be evil.
I feel
intermittently,
like that's not even a good plan right now. We need to know more.
frantically trying to calm himself down. Like, it's okay. And then, I don't want to be evil.
Oh God!
It's fine. It's okay. We're going to find Mordenkainen, this dude. Well, she doesn't know. We're going to find this dude. This guy.
I would have shared the name.
Okay.
Also, Elminster mentioned it briefly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We're going to find Mordenkainen and just calm down.
I don't want my memory modified. So by the time you get back to Baldur's Gate, it is a little before sundown. Still some light. But a little before sundown, Baldur's Gate is exactly as you left it. Big and sweaty and gross, overcrowded and smelly. I mentioned that already, but I feel like I should mention it twice because Baldur's Gate is very smelly, especially in the lower city. But the High Hall, which is where Salvador sort of goes automatically, because that's where his home is. The High Hall is not smelly. The High Hall is one of the nicest buildings in Baldur's Gate. It is this magnificent white marble building decorated with pillars that are holding up this beautiful bas-relief archway. And Salvador is still muttering, just like, oh god, this is all so terrible. Guys, I think we have to cancel. I have a bad tummy ache. I don't want to do this. Yeah, go ahead.
Nyla's concerned. No, we can't do. Nyla looks at him and goes, this is actually a bad idea right now. If we're gonna make this work, he's got to be calm and chill.
Yeah,
this is not gonna work if he's freaking out.
No.
And whose fault is that he's freaking out, Nyla?
I'm also very freaked out.
It is very disconcerting to think about your memories being gone, or just.
It is very discomforting to think about one of your friends' memories. Not accomplice.
No, Sarah, you called me a friend. His bad mood is instantly gone. He hugs you. You called me a friend. That means it's true.
Oh, take backsies.
I knew all along that you were really my friend.
Oh, God's above.
He seems in a better mood now, though.
I just want you to know that I also consider you my friend.
Oh, that's great. That's so great, Salvador.
Thank you for being a friend.
So yes, you are standing just outside the High Hall. You have not gone inside yet.
Okay.
Sal seems like he's in a much better mood now. Because Nyla finally admitted they're friends.
He's like, yeah.
This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Thank you for being a friend.
Nyla looks at Sal and she goes, as a friend, I got a plan, okay?
Yeah, you mentioned it. You have been very ominous about describing it.
Are you going to tell us now? We're here.
Okay, well, you two can't be involved because you don't know anyone in high society. But Sal and I
do.
I'm sorry, who do you know in high society?
I mean, not in Baldur's Gate, but I know plenty of people and I rattle off a couple nobles back home.
That actually might come in handy. How good are you at pretending? Nyla's getting this look in her eye. So,
pretending what?
Well, okay. Here's the deal. I may or may not have an alter ego here in Baldur's Gate.
Salvador gasps.
Salvador, you may actually have heard of me. I, the Lady Yolanda Merriweather Valencia Faustus.
Lady Yolanda Merriweather Valencia Faustus? That's you?
That's me.
I've heard that name.
I don't know who that is, but it sounds long and important.
I cannot believe that's you now. That's amazing.
So Sal, I was thinking I could propose to your father that perhaps another marriage would be more advantageous for him.
Sal he's blinking at you bewildered. He's still shook. I don't know. I mean, that might work, maybe.
And now that I'm thinking about it here, pretty little Selwyn, she looks like she might be some sort of, we could dress her. I could go steal a dress. Put her in something presentable. I think she's like going over to Selwyn now and she's like poking her face. Like,
I just kind of put up with it because, like, I had sisters.
She's like, I think we might be able to make this work, actually. The original plan is I was going to say I was going to marry you, but I am, Lady Yolanda is perhaps a bit aged.
Aged?
She might not be the best choice, but,
Maybe she is, like a, what do they say? A panther liking of the younger men, eh?
That's not what that word means, but okay.
We all turn and stare at Ariazis.
But Salvador is getting really excited. He's like, that might work. That actually might work. Okay, let's try it.
Then who am I? I can't come in if you guys just go. I have no title.
You can be the one who found me.
You can be a servant.
Great.
The one who found him. That's good.
You can be a silent servant. I just want to stress that. You can be a very silent, incredibly silent servant who does not talk. I'm sorry. Were you there whenever she tried to tell those sailors?
No, actually.
It was terrible.
It's true. It was terrible. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
I will
okay,
pretend that I don't talk.
There we go. You are our mute servant.
She just like
You
rolls
just
her
don't
eyes and
speak
nods.
common.
All right, so like I don't think like Selwyn, I don't think you need like a disguise for this because you know you're a little travel worn at the moment. Like you've got some dirt on the hem of your robes, but there's nothing prestidigitation couldn't fix. And you know when you clean yourself up, you do. I mean, you look goth, but you also you look like a royal goth if you really carry
Royal
yourself
goth.
well.
I have a really nice cloak that I take very good care of.
Mm-hmm. But Nyla, you have a whole outfit, so I would
Oh,
really,
yes.
I would absolutely love just the lushest description if you don't mind.
Oh,
Okay. So Nyla like goes into like an alleyway and comes back a second later, and she's done a couple things. One,
Oh,
she's
God,
cast
just lay it all on me. I'm so ready for
she's
this.
cast disguise self on her, so she looks like a human woman, like a very short still human person. But so with disguise self, you can make yourself seem like a foot taller. So normally she's 3 foot tall. Now she looks like a 4 foot tall, very
Still
short
very,
human
very
woman.
short. Yes.
Still very short, but she looks like your fucking grandmother, but like your grandmother if she decided to wear a peacock green dress. Oh, I'm sorry, no, it's lavender. So she's got like a lavender dress. It's like this enormous lace collar, and the skirt is the biggest thing you've ever fucking seen. She has a matching purple hat, and it's a peacock green ostrich feather is stuck right in it. And she's wearing the ugliest costume jewelry you've ever seen in your entire life.
I love it.
I love everything about this. The literal second Amber mentioned that they wanted to have this as their alter identity, I was like, yes. Okay, everything about this. This is perfect. Never change.
Taraji's just blinks and is like, that's a lot of colors, a lot of everything.
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah, she does. She's like, lots of colors, lots of everything.
Dearie me, why is that person talking?
I was like, oh my God.
And then she's like chokes on air, like, okay. And now she really is like stunned into silence.
This episode, 5 stars, 10 out of 10. 100 out of 100. A plus, A plus.
Well, I really think we should be going, don't you?
Salvador's really excited because like this might work. Like this might actually work. It might convince his father to not do this.
Before we go in, Nyla's gonna drop the voice real quick, and she's gonna pull Sal and Selwyn over, and she goes, "Okay, we gotta think of a backstory here before we walk in, make sure we're all on the same page."
Selwyn rescued me, and I fell in love with her.
Okay, that seems fair. And Selwyn, you're from a very rich family. Is that true?
Relatively, yeah.
How you have money?
Uh-huh.
How much
Not all.
Well, I mean, I don't have a lot, but
could you get? Okay, we'll talk about this later. Okay, so you rescued. Okay, and I'm gonna say that I found you 2 lovebirds, and and Sal was just he was so sad because he was gonna be married off to somebody else, and I'm here to facilitate this match because I just couldn't possibly see 2 people so in love not be together.
That's perfect. That's
hang on,
perfect.
hang on. I like start rummaging in my bag for something. Okay. I pull out this length of velvet ribbon. Okay, Sal, give me your hand.
What? He hands you. He sticks out his hand, but he's not sure why.
I wrap the ribbon around both of our wrists and like do a complicated knot and then cut it. All right. This is a way that my people propose to each other this way, and this way we can actually have a little bit more validity to this claim.
Okay. Sure, yeah, okay. He knows absolutely nothing about elven culture. So he's like, yeah, okay, sure.
As soon as you take out the ribbon, Arias is just like, big eyes, like, oh.
Someone was like, yeah, okay, this might actually work. I will be in your debt if this works. Thank you so much. So Salvador, he leads you inside. Like he lives in this palace. The guards, when they see him, they are immediately like, oh my God, he's back. And they're turning like, he's back. Like the son of the Duke is back. And there's a whole consternation in the hallway the moment he walks in. And Salvador is really vibrating with excitement, like, oh my God, this might actually work.
Nyla's having a panic attack in the corner.
He's trying to keep it to himself, and it's mostly working. He finally takes you all into the Great Hall, which is, as described, a great hall. On the far end of the room, there are 4 guards near the corners of the room, and there's a long table at which are bent over a couple people. There's one, an older man, sort of salt and pepper hair with a pointed beard. There's another one who looks like a wizard maybe, or a sorcerer of some kind. He has a staff holstered over his back, and they both look up when everyone enters. The man with the pointed beard, since no one else is speaking, speaks first, and he says, Salvador. And Salvador's like, hi, Father. So before you say anything, and before Salvador can even finish, the man with the pointed beard makes a gesture at one of the guards. One of the guards that was gestured to heads forward, grabs Salvador by the wrist, and drags him out of the room.
Hey!
And Salvador says, hey, wait a minute, don't... And before he can even get the rest of his sentence out, the door slams behind him. The man with the pointed beard turns and regards the three of you in confusion. He says, oh, I suppose you want the reward. One moment. He reaches under the table for a moment. He opens a big trunk under there, and he throws this. It's huge, this enormous sack of gold. He throws it like halfway between the three of you. He says, there you go. You're dismissed.
Nyla steps forward with her giant fucking costume on. So, real quick, just to establish backstory here, she presumably has seen this guy around before.
If she has ever been inside the High Hall as Lady Faustus, then yeah, definitely. She's seen all of the Grand Dukes.
Yeah, okay. She steps forward and she goes, why, it's so nice to be here, but, this is, it's so nice to meet you again. I know we've
Perhaps
talked
you
many
misheard me,
times.
my lady. You are dismissed. Hey friends, it's your favorite DM, Tessa Crowley. If you want more information on the show, social media links, episode lists, character biographies, or player information, check out our website, critfail.club or critfailclub.com. If you want to chat with us or other listeners, or even listen live as we record, join our Discord server at bit.ly/cfcdiscord. Episodes are available on YouTube at bit.ly/cfcchannel and wherever you get your podcasts.
Sure, that too.
Okay, I'm back. I just had to eat Moki.
Okay.
Eat
had to
Loki?
eat-
You had to
eat
eat your
Loki?
cat?
Yep, he's gone.
Oh my god.